So, welcome to session 3. As we completed last session, our stalwart fellowship managed to run a ruse on a group of goblins that apparently, not a troll, that have been raiding some of the local farms and slaughtering their sheep and other livestock in the fields, and they ran them off. So we left our group there with the goblins on the run. And so what are we doing? Are you going to follow them immediately, or are you going to wait until first light and track them?
I believe we were
Or something else.
Weren't we planning on following them immediately?
Yeah, I think we were just going to try and follow them. Just try and get a gauge of where their base camp would be.
What about supper?
Gotta eat on your feet.
I can't eat on my feet, they're hairy.
No.
Oh, right, as we're walking, I do have some, yes. If we see a chicken as we're going by, chicken would be good. We could have that for dinner tomorrow.
So if you recall, the assumption, given the frequency of the attacks, is that wherever they are holed up is probably within a day's travel, probably closer to like a half day's travel at most, depending. Although it is fairly well known, so most of you probably, maybe with the exception of Hamson, but maybe not, are also likely aware that orcs and goblins don't do very well in daylight, so it's possible that their hole or their hideout might be closer than you think. That said,
yes,
yeah, hovel. That said, it might not be an awful idea at least to gather some supplies.
I was just going to go and get Daisy and pack the cooking gear and the supplies I picked up today. I'll be right back.
Because
what is that smell?
My question is your goal to run this group down, or are you going to take it a little bit slower and just track them and find where they're coming from?
My idea was track them and find out where they're coming from. Just
okay.
Yeah, I think that would be the general gist. Yeah.
When you want to stop a snake, you cut off the head. So.
Sure. Or at the very least, make sure this isn't or this is or isn't, right? Find out whether or not this is the only group in the area. Maybe they're just a small detachment of a larger force.
Yeah, essentially.
Okay. Yeah. So Hamson's going to run back to the cottage and get Daisy and some other supplies.
Yeah, I'm getting Daisy. If we find a chicken coop, maybe I'll find some treasure, some eggs.
Right. There are lots of farms in town. I don't know. Is Hamson the light-fingered type? He doesn't strike me as such.
No, not often, but not when needed. But we have supplies, so we're okay this time. But yes,
okay.
We'll have to dig up some get some mushrooms out.
Right.
So I'm getting Daisy, the character Daisy. Give her a brush down. Pack this, pack that. Overpack this, overpack
the rest
that.
Of it back in the field. So how long does it take Hamson to get back to the rest of the fellowship?
Probably until someone comes and gets me.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So, better question then. How long are all of you waiting in the field before somebody gets fed up and goes looking for Hamson back in the cottage?
Well, to say it only took us a couple of minutes to get out here, I'm going to say...
it took like 15, 20.
Oh, okay. I would think Aurelio would wait probably like 15-20 minutes and then go and catch up with him to make sure he's found everything okay to be able to come back. Because it is dark, just making sure he's got everything.
Sure.
Probably sees him loading 2 chairs onto the back of Daisy.
Chairs.
Of course.
And maybe if there's a little coffee table, and I don't know, 2 chairs maybe, just so he could, sit. Yeah,
Wow, that's awesome.
anything could be
Easy.
useful. Could be useful. Blankets out of the beds, and maybe a pillow, extra pillow. Yes, we're going to be camping out at night. I've got to be comfortable.
So at that point, I guess are you saying Irenial went alone to find Hamson? Makes sense. She's kind of
Yeah,
taking that position.
yeah, she's kind of took him as his charge, I think.
Right.
Yeah, she would have wandered off. It's not that far, and because the goblins are running away, I think she'd be more than happy to go by herself.
Okay. So yeah, it takes another 15-20 minutes or so for Irenial to make it back to the cottage to find Hamson loading chairs and bedding and all kinds of things onto.
Climb onto
Daisy.
Daisy. Oh, I'm coming. Don't worry. I've got everything I need.
Why
Cooking
do you need
pot.
that much?
I figured we might need to sit down, and we might need to have some food, and got to have supper later, and then got to cook a nice breakfast in the morning. Yeah, if we see any mushrooms all around, we could slice up and have some eggs and some mushrooms. Lovely. I could make a little mushroom omelette. Ooh.
That
that
does sound very
delightful,
nice.
yes. Oh yes, come on, let's go. Come on, come on, hurry up! We haven't got all day. We've got to get back to the others. I'd offer you a space up here, but there's only a little bit of room on poor Daisy.
Yeah, I think she's doing quite well on her own with what she's got.
She's delightful. Yes. And I'll gently ride Daisy back.
We need to figure out who's going to be doing the tracking. Not necessarily going to make this a journey so much, because it likely won't be that far, but somebody still needs to make at the very least, a tracking roll. And then we'll do that with hunting. So whoever wants to make that roll.
I was the one that found the tracks, but
You were.
Yeah, I think Narnia would kneel this to you, because you were successful in finding the tracks where she can fully understand what happened with the body. So
okay.
you've
then
seen
I
the
will
tracks
roll
before, so it's like, yeah, you know what you're looking for.
Okay.
Yeah. Then I will roll hunting.
And let's see, Narniel has hunting, so you could assist. That'll give Trastin an extra die.
Okay, so that gives me 1 bonus die.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Nice.
that's it. No one else assists. Then I will submit it.
No, Irenial and Hamson
And
looking
I
for
am
mushrooms.
very successful in failing.
Oh wow.
Ooh, okay. All right, so then I need someone else to make an explore roll for me. Whoever of the remaining fellowship has a decent explore pool, as it were.
I'll do that because I'm favoured on that. Yes. Okay. Does the favour actually automatically tick in with the?
As long as you have it ticked,
I
when
have
you
it
click on the button to roll it, it'll
Yeah.
automatically count. So you
Cool.
roll. You basically have advantage on the feat die.
So I don't put any bonus die in there. It's just it's automatic.
Yep.
Oh, I can't see a thing either.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Amazing.
We are
okay.
bad today at rolling.
It's because I'm looking down from on top of Daisy. I can't see where they've gone. How could you lose them? I have packed everything.
So you're all traveling for a while, and Hamson has even gotten down off of Daisy and is trying to really take a good look about. We'll say it's probably a good 4 or 5 hours. You're trying to find the trail again and track these goblins to the point where the sun is just starting to not peak above the horizon, but the skyline is certainly very, you're getting the dark umbers and then russets and turning into the crimson and the yellows of dawn. However, while it's still relatively dark,
Is it a red sun?
and no. While
no
it's still
dark.
relatively dark, right, and as Hamson is yawning massively,
What's that sound?
Is that your
Did you
stomach?
hear it?
That's morning chirp.
Breakfast. No sleep for breakfast.
but as there is still some darkness, the light is growing on the horizon, but you do spot what looks to be a campfire in the distance.
Well, do you see that?
Ooh. That might be where we need to go.
Do you think it's the troll?
I was thinking more of the goblins.
Yeah, we already made sure that it wasn't the troll.
You think the goblins would make a fire out in the open road? Don't they live in caves and hovels and abandoned places? Maybe it's another
That's a
traveler.
good point.
Oh, come on, let's go. It's a fire.
Don't you live in a hole in the ground?
Well, the ground is shaped above the hole, yes, but we have wood interiors and fireplaces, and I have a lovely front door. And such a knocker on it that you would... and the kitchen. Oh, you'd love the kitchen. Oh, it's just... and my pantry.
I imagine your kitchen's to die for.
The pantry. Oh, it's cheeses,
Yeah, if
hams,
only he learned to think with his head,
bacon,
not with his...
pies. Oh, wonderful things in the pantry. Cakes. Oh,
You're just going to make yourself
So-
hungry.
I
Are
already
we
am
moving
hungry.
closer to the fire as we're having this conversation?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hamson,
Hello?
ma-
You by the fire?
Hamson.
Hello?
Wait,
Hanson,
Oh,
shut!
What
We're
are you
trying to be stealthy here. If they
Oh.
are the goblins, they would attack us.
Oh.
So,
You didn't say stealthy, and normally, I mean, I could assist you in being stealthy. There must be something here I can pull on you.
Hamson,
Hamson?
no.
Pick up some grass and put this on
Hamson.
your head. I can't reach. In your belt. There's a little bit of grass. It gives you a bit of cover. Shush.
So Traston's elf eyes can make out a single figure sitting in the fire.
What can Hampton smell cooking?
Fire.
That's a good question. I don't know that you would smell anything cooking. Actually, we'll leave that to the traveler at the fire, Jake.
I am going to stealth ahead to see who or what it is.
Can you smell that? And it's not
Should I roll my stealth?
not Traston.
You can, sure. Although, at this point, the traveler at the fire, who is Jake's character, if he's there, certainly has already heard Hamson. But you can make a stealth check to try and
Of course, he
move up.
has heard Hamson. He can't shut up.
You'll find me hunched over the fire. It's rather dark, you're saying, correct?
It's just getting on sunrise, but it's still dark.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. So you
I am
find me
going to
probably
roll
hunched
my
over
stealth
the
at least. That's at least a success. So I'm sneaking ahead towards the fire to see who or what it is.
So, yeah. How are you arrayed, Jake? What does Traston see?
He would see a character hunched over the fire, busy with a scroll, kind of, he concentrating as if he's trying to make out the words on it, and just reading by the light of the fire, and as the sun is rising, he'll, be able to move away a bit from the fire. A rather old elf, ancient elf, but spry. You would see probably in a traveling cloak, His hood may be up, but you would detect the mannerisms of an elf.
I would expect that he's also an elf, but since he is a Rivendell elf, he would have a little bit different style of clothing than I have.
Oh, certainly.
Yes,
and
I would
and
recognize that
certainly
style.
easy to identify. Yes.
Yeah. So as soon as
Unless Jake's character is intentionally dressing down, I'm assuming, finely made elven cloak for travel, and then, finely made garments, definitely of the cut of Rivendell.
Well worn, have seen many
Okay.
many miles or kilometers.
but you do have visual Rivendell clothing.
Yeah.
Taston, who is it? Can you see him or her?
Can I? May I roll a ranged attack towards a halfling? Maybe?
and at that, I'll turn around and go.
And as soon as I
Hello.
see him, as I see him, I'm
Hello.
Actually, hang on.
elvish.
Hang on a second. Jake, why don't you make an awareness roll
I did.
for me?
I preemptively did after
did
his
you?
stealth
Okay.
roll. Yes.
And it was the same as mine.
Oh, and
Yes.
it was a success. So yeah,
Sure.
you definitely knew that someone was there. Maybe not exactly where they were. Someone other than the loud hobbit voice that you heard quite some time ago.
Yes.
Which is not strange. This is an area where hobbits live, although it is quite late at night for a hobbit to be out and about. So yeah, go ahead, continue. You turn and...
As I see
hello.
that he's a elf, a Rivendell elf, I say in Elvish. Surprising to see a Rivendell elf here.
Quenya or Sindarin?
I will reply in Sindarin.
Okay.
And
Which would be appropriate for a Mirkwood elf. Yeah.
say, well met, friend. Come and share my fire.
Now,
Are you?
Araniel and Narniel certainly know Sindarin. They
Okay.
may even know Quenya. They may know bits and pieces of Quenya, depending. Hamson, do you think he knows some Elvish? Would he have picked it up anywhere?
No. Hansel knows
yeah.
the universal language, though. The most important universal language.
Food.
Food.
Yeah, the only Sindarin words that he would know are food objects.
The universal language. I love it.
Yeah, friend elf, perhaps you can give me some directions if you're familiar with the area. I have only the basics of map, and I can't make heads or tail.
Well,
Would you be able to direct me in the way? I'm looking for this Oswald, Oswald Breaker. Do you know who that might be, and where he might be found?
well, you are in luck. We are currently doing a job for him.
Oh, wonderful. But you're not anywhere around the lake.
No, there were attacks near the village of young man Breaker, and we are trying to stop.
Sea creatures attacked the village?
Not sea creatures. At first they thought it was a troll, but they were actually gnomes. No, what were it again?
Meanwhile, I'm still walking up, by the way. I'm
What,
not stopping.
goblins?
They were goblins.
Yeah.
And they tried to hide their tracks by attacking as a troll would do.
There are orc folk in the area?
Yeah, apparently, yes.
Oh, well, that's much better news than trolls, but troubling news around these times. I mean, I've been sent to give Oswald some important research and important papers. These have nothing to do with trolls or orcs.
Well,
So
it
has
wasn't
everyone
so-
else rolled up at this point?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think we would have rolled up at this point.
Hello there, I'm Hanson Cotton.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Hello, Hanson.
yeah.
Fire.
Well
Do you mind
met.
if join your fire.
Hello, please.
Daisy!
Join. My fire is your fire.
Oh, marvellous, marvellous. Well, it's too late for supper, but we need to have a hearty breakfast.
Well, yes. By the way, that is my horse. His name is Seuss. He is a
Seuss?
riding horse, not an eating horse, unfortunately.
Oh, I would never put my hand over Daisy. We never eat horses.
Oh,
We leave that for the lesser folks. Yes.
Oh yeah, because Daisy is a pony, right?
Daisy
Not
is
like
a-
a mule.
Daisy
Yeah.
is a pony. Well, I've got some eggs, and you haven't got any mushrooms, have you? Or any chicken?
I don't know. Do you travel with food, Jake, or do you use lembas bread when you're on the road?
I think that I would be traveling long enough that either I'd have to pack a lot of lemnis bread or also survive on what I can find. That
Well,
being said, my hunting
One
skills
small
aren't
loaf of
fantastic.
lembas bread would have gotten you. You would have only eaten a few crumbs of it between here
Right.
and Rivendell. You're not that far.
I'm
But
curious
if
enough
you're
about the
interested
world.
in the more, baser type of foods, you can certainly do that as well. Elves do like a feast. It's just they tend to use lembas when traveling.
Yeah, and I will open up a bag with various maybe herbs or other roots or things that I may have found along the way.
My goodness.
Now, I just be careful. This
Yes, it's
this
fine. Yes.
bag here is for eating
Just
food.
one,
I have
just
another one that is for
one.
curiosities that I haven't quite discovered
Oh,
what they are or what they do. They may have medicinal purposes. So there's another bag of roots and herbs that I haven't quite identified. Maybe you could help me
Oh,
identify
well, I
them.
certainly have a look, but
Yeah.
I must
Learn
cook
about them.
breakfast
That would be-
first. I
Yes.
missed supper last night. It was shocking. I feel like my stomach does not know what has happened to my food, whether my mouth is actually still there or not, because I've not eaten.
Well, it's a good thing that you only missed supper and that you still had dinner. Otherwise, I'd imagine you'd be very hungry indeed.
Oh, we had to rush dinner though.
Oh.
My companions say, "Oh, fine, rangers of north and elves and stuff," but they haven't got a decent idea about the correct etiquette for the meals of the day.
So what are Iraniel and Narniel doing? They see this traveler, clearly an elf, right?
I think Narniel will still be just assessing the situation, keeping an ear out. But Irenial, as soon as the herbs were mentioned, it'll be I can have a look at that. I have some herbs. We can maybe see if they're the same thing, and go to help look at what he's got.
Yes, I'd certainly appreciate that. And if you don't know anything, I understand that this Oswald has one of the most extensive libraries in the area, and I'm sure I could gain knowledge that I'm looking for there.
He
But it
certainly
does have
had a
a
lot of
big
books.
library, yes, yeah. And some
Tell
other
me about
Northmen
this.
there as well. And it was strange because they are Northmen, not in the north, but in the south, when they
Yes.
should be in the north.
We went
So-
over this, Hampton.
Why?
I'm not to this gentleman. I'm sorry. Sorry, I didn't get your name, sir.
Oh, yes, it's Shadon.
Shadon.
Shadon Hashoel, but just call me Shadon.
Shadon Hashoel. Hashoel.
I-
Shadon. Yes.
Oh.
Would that be
Lovely
a
to
famous,
meet you.
elven,
Well met,
family name?
Shadon.
Would that be a famous family elven name, or?
I think that there would be absolutely nothing famous about Shadon.
Yeah, probably not.
His most famous feature would be that he's sent on tasks that take a long time to accomplish before he can come home. Oftentimes, the people he's accomplishing these tasks for forgot that they've even asked for the documents, and when I show up there with the stuff, they're curious as to why. But no matter, because I get to travel a lot and satisfy my curiosity a lot of the times and learn many things.
Yeah,
travel a lot too.
if Shadon were human, I would imagine him having glasses for close reading and being kind of stooped over from leaning over manuscripts and having ink-stained fingers. But as an elf, you wouldn't have any of those frailties.
Oh, because we are superior.
It's quite interesting. He requested documents. I mean, you work for him, so I'm sure you would know about this. But he has requested documents from our library, our archives, regarding
what was he
creature in the depths of the lake. Lake Evandin, I believe it was. The trouble.
Yes. He was
was
talking to the other Northern about they were after information on a creature or something. As I'm breaking eggs and whisking up eggs. Everyone for a bit of omelette, yes? Have a bit of that and a bit of that.
Is that the lake from
Oh!
Numinous?
It is. Yeah, Lake Evandim. Anuminas is on the shore of Lake Evandim. Well, partially submerged in it as well.
Okay. Oh, what was he asking about that lake? That's quite interesting.
I was told to bring materials relating to that creature. There's some references here also to Morgoth. I don't like to say the name aloud.
Who?
We are very sensitive to that dark evil.
Evil. Well, we're not working for him. We're just actually helping. We're helping.
Oh.
We're heroes, you know. Heroes.
We came through the town.
Hanson
and
Cotton, hero of the Shire.
we heard
Has
that
a
they were
ring to
having
it,
some
doesn't it?
trouble. Yes. It has a very good ring to it, Hamza. You will be able to go back with many stories, I guarantee you.
As long as I get some treasures as well.
So,
Yeah, no.
about these orcs, have they been dispatched? Are they
Goblins.
still around the area? Is there cause for concern?
We
We
follow
saw them
traveling-
off. We stood there, the arrows were flying, the swords were swishing, and we saw them off.
Well, I have very important documents. They can't be lost. Who knows what orcs would do with such things?
Well, in
The
that
knowledge would
case,
be
we
lost
shall
forever.
escort you back once we are finished.
I always wondered if orcs were able to read or not, but they don't really.
That's an excellent question. We should
Yeah,
probably
it does.
try to find out. And I will start scribbling.
Oh,
I mean,
you know
we're
what?
trying
They- when we thought there was a troll here, they wanted to talk to the troll, my two northern lady friends here. But we could talk to the goblin. The goblins actually did understand us because we scared them away. Oh,
And,
did they read?
and you're saying they pretended to be trolls too?
No, the town just thought it was trolls. It was just
because of
a misunderstanding.
I'm sure there's a
wonder if
troll here.
trolls
Really.
ever
Time
pretend
they
to be
attacked-
goblins.
Well, they clearly just saw their livestock being attacked and assumed they were trolls. They never really. They only looked at the bodies. They never looked at the bodies.
Yeah.
Well, and a few people talked about the old times and the long winter. Like, they've had issues with trolls in the past. Thankfully, there were, back then, there were heroes who were able to assist them as well. So it was just an assumption, really.
It was
The people of Combi are fairly simple.
a mistake of association with
Yes,
historical events.
Exactly.
Yes, it's very important to learn from history, lest we repeat the darker aspects of history.
And we all know
So
That's why.
upon,
of all F-ups.
upon mentioning Morgoth, Traston certainly knows the name. I don't know if Traston would have fought. I don't know that Traston is old enough to have fought in the First Age. But he would be aware of them from his teachings in the kingdom. As far as Araniel and Narniel, I mean, they would be familiar with the name. You would know that he was an evil that was put down in the First Age. He was actually essentially the master of Sauron, who was then put down later as well. So yeah, it's interesting to hear such an old name.
Well, then Traston, let me favor you. I mean, you're quite young, I see, but even you might recognize this one. And I'm going to take out a kind of a little lute or some sort of stringed instrument that I have, and I will perform a song in Quenya about a bit of the history of of who Morgoth was and why it's so important to beware of him, and and I'll start to sing while breakfast is being made, and the scents of the herbs and the spices and the eggs are filtering through the breakfast, and as the sun is rising over the horizon, we will enjoy a moment of song and respite.
Let's hear the song then, Jake. Come on. No? No?
The first thing that comes to mind is Bravely
Actually-
Bold Sir Robin, and that's not topical.
Actually, why don't you make a song check, Jake?
I love that there's a song check.
Because I'm not really good at it. Oh wait, but the musical instrument gives me a bonus die, a +1, right? So
Correct.
at that.
Hamson's going to join in, by the way, once he gets the beat.
Ooh,
Yes.
Well, I don't think he'll get the beat.
it's
So
it's
the
a
song.
really well done song, but you stumble a couple of places because it's been some time since you've probably I would guess for yourself it probably has been 1,000 years since you've sung or heard that song. Traston would have heard it as well quite some time ago. Hamson is just kind of
Singing badly.
Just going with it.
You know what?
he's
Better we
just
don't
saying
sing.
watermelon.
Bit of chicken in my omelette.
He's bringing in food to the song.
We're gonna
So
add
good.
some herbs and spices, salt and pepper, a few more eggs. Shame we haven't got a duck egg.
I stop in the middle, and you see that I'm like, sorry.
Hang on, let me finish. So, unfortunately, because of the mishandling of certain names in the song, there is a sense of chill and a bit of a darkening almost of the light of sunrise. Although you didn't roll so horribly that other things might have given.
Things can happen.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop singing and kind of mention, you know what? Songs about Morgoth are still very difficult to my people. I thought I could do it, but
round and round. Add some
I should
salt
have
and
chosen
pepper.
a happier topic, and I'm going to stop and listen to our dear friend Hobbit singing
Which is a
his
happier topic, food.
song of food. Yes,
Smell
Now,
that.
I will say
I
this.
wish I had some bread.
I will get lost in
Since you made the
contemplation.
roll, I like that you brought in the song. I do want everybody to be aware that had you succeeded and had anybody been lacking in hope, although I don't think anybody has spent any hope yet, then I would have given everybody a refresh on their hope.
Yes,
because of
I
that.
want
Scenes
I
like
want
that are
spent
really,
hope.
really nice.
What
What's
you're
that?
saying is,
I once spent hope. I
You-
only have 10 hope left of the 11 I had.
When did you spend hope?
I believe a roll in the last session.
Did you? Oh, okay. Well, had he succeeded, you would have regained them. But as it stands, not so much. But
Had
things
I
like that are great,
sure, I
especially
would've-
like at a camp, having a song with a meal. That can do a lot to bolster your characters. So that was great. All right, continue though, by all means. Hamson is singing about breakfast while he's cooking.
I'll dish up some breakfast. Tristan, you don't want any, do you?
I just had some lemon bread, so no thank you.
Wow. You do live a very sheltered life. Did you only ever eat that lambus bread? Could we add some to the omelette? Could we make a lambus bread omelette? Do you think that would work?
I don't think that would work very well, Hamson.
It might work, but I think it would spoil too much.
Yes, it would spoil the eggs for sure. Most definitely would spoil the eggs.
No, you will not be able to eat all because a little crumb is more than enough for the entire day.
Well,
I
for
mean,
most
Just
One meal a day?
Have you seen how much he can eat?
You only eat one meal a day? Oh my goodness. The elves are lost. How could they only eat one meal a day?
Not quite, Master Hampson. That smells quite good, and I was watching you. I admire your skill with the different herbs and spices that you have available, and it didn't seem like you even had a book to read from in order to do it. You just knew what to do.
Oh, yes. I've been cooking for years. My mother cooked before me, and her mother cooked before her, and her mother cooked before her. Right, this is almost ready. I'm just going to go and get my chair and my little table. Just going up to Daisy, unpacking the chair and my little table, and kind of put it down, and I'll lay out a serviette for myself, a cloth serviette, knife and fork out, give him a wipe over, pull out the wooden goblets and the wine. Right, I'll start dishing up some omelette for everybody. Yes.
Narniel would just totter over a little and look over it and like, is there anything you don't carry, Master Hobbit?
I try and have everything for every eventuality. Yes, it's very important. Of course, the chair and the table came from our cottage we're staying at. I do hope they didn't mind me borrowing them. I'm sure it'll be fine. We are helping you out.
Shadon, how long have you been sitting here?
Oh, I've been traveling these woods for some time now. It's quite a distance to our archives. Oftentimes, because of my age and experience, I like to think I'm sent out on these messages to deliver important information. Oftentimes, they'll charge me to stay there while the information is being read, so that I can bring it back as well. It's often time-consuming, my work.
You're also a messenger?
I spend a lot of time in the archives, trying to acquire knowledge, and this is a way that I can give back to those that give me knowledge.
That is very gracious.
I do deliver messages. I am a messenger. But I do travel a lot.
I'm a caretaker of our scrolls, our books, our scribes, our writings, and when called upon, I bring them where they're needed.
Yeah, I've seen. I've been to the archives of Rivendell.
Well, then you are truly a blessed elf.
I haven't. Would they be a good place to see? Would there be any cooking books there?
I think we're going to have to create one
Really?
of your recipes.
You don't have any elven cooking books?
Oh, we do plenty. I'm sure, but I mean, this is exceptional.
Must go to Rivendell then. Do they make everything with this lambus bread? Do you have lambus bread and dip it in your breakfast boiled egg?
Lambus bread is actually something that we really use when traveling. Because
you don't
very
use
light to carry around,
right?
And you don't need a lot to be full. So it's very, very handy while traveling.
It's not like normal bread, Hampson. It's not.
So what happens if you lose it then? How will you survive in the wild if you lose your lambus bread?
You do notice I have a bow on my back, right?
Yes, you also smell of horse shit, a cow shit rather, but that's okay.
I don't know why I would smell like that.
Plus,
I
you
was
cow pit all over you.
Yeah.
I was helping you, remember? You were stealthy last night, and you haven't had a bath yet this morning.
That could have been why you lost the one hope, because you were rolling around in it.
No.
He wasn't rolling around in it. Hampson just kind of came up and slapped it on his cloak.
He needed some help hiding from the goblins. I thought I'd assist him.
I didn't need help.
Well, I could
Hampson,
see exactly where you are.
Forced
I
your
think
help
you would-
onto me.
You would quite enjoy an elven feast in Rivendell. And I hope you have an opportunity to experience it, because elven food is quite special. It's delicate but filling. It is fragrant and flavorful.
Fragrance and flavors, good, yes.
Nicely spiced. The spiced fruit is particularly a delicacy, if you don't mind me saying. I'm sure your food equals what you would find in Rivendell, but it would be different. It would be a different experience.
You haven't tasted my egg curry. Oh, it's delightful. Oh.
So at this point, the sun has crested the horizon.
Oh crap! Time for second breakfast.
No, not yet. We're okay. We got about 2 hours before second breakfast. Then 2 hours after that till 11's, and then 2 hours after that to lunch, then 2 hours after that to afternoon tea, and then it's 3 hours till dinner, and then 3 further hours till supper. Don't worry, we'll get them all in.
Now, before approaching Shadon's fire, you were heading north, trying to track some goblins.
That's why I asked how long he was
Going to
sitting here.
his fire took you a little ways off to the east. So maybe in daylight you might be able to find tracks better. I don't know if Shadon would be interested in going with you, or if you're planning on taking Shadon back to Combi, because someone mentioned escorting. I think Hamson mentioned escorting him after breakfast.
Well, once we solve the goblin problem, we can escort him back. Yes.
Yes.
I'm also curious to see what the connection between these goblins and these scrolls and this information I was tasked to bring back. I mean, water creatures and goblins.
Your bet would be there's no connection there.
I'm a curious person. I'm trying to acquire knowledge. I'm frequently not.
You're also a very wise person.
Oh.
So I can see your inquisitiveness and your curiosity might be just kind of bubbling at the thought that there might be a connection, but being of the wise, you probably realize that it's probably just coincidence. But it could be more. Nothing wrong with having a bit of wonder and
I mean, clearly Oswald is more concerned now about these goblins than the information that I have to bring him. It's maybe perhaps not as timely, and I am curious about goblins who pretend to be trolls, perhaps, or and I might acquire some new knowledge there.
Sure.
And I'm also a little bit wary now about maybe traveling alone.
Now that you know there's goblins in the area, sure.
Yeah, and there's an elf in this party, so how bad can these people be, really?
Oh, the humans aren't that bad. It's just that the hobbit can sometimes be a bit loud. Especially when we try to surprise an enemy, he just blurts everything out and stops the element of surprise.
From my understanding, you'd be hard-pressed to find an enemy of a hobbit.
Maybe someone that doesn't eat.
They're generally very agreeable people.
Yes, the hobbits
Very
are.
hospitable.
As you also know, goblins are everyone's enemy.
Trust me, if I needed to, I could swish this sword left to right and poke them in and take them down.
I do
very
like
successful.
that.
Cornrows.
You may want to wipe a little bit of the butter that you have off that sword, so that it.
Oh, well, it was used last to. Well, I had this incident on the way out. I'll tell you. I was traveling towards the Prancing Pony. Have you been there? They sell pints, Remarkable. But I was going through this. It was like a jungle. And I got attacked by the corn. I had to swish left, swish right with my sword. The corn was all around me. So I figured if I put some butter on my sword while I'm finding my way out, I could prep the corn as I was going along. And actually, the corn, I've still got some left. We can have that for dinner tomorrow. But it was dastardly corn. Dastardly. It kept swinging back and hitting me. Oh, horrible, horrible. Tastes good when you cook it with butter, though.
So you shall be known now as the Hobbit of the Corn.
Ooh. Hobbit of the Corn.
Cornslayer.
Cornslayer, I like that. Oh, yes. Yes, well, perhaps. I hadn't really given much thought.
You do need a
So-
hero name.
I do need a name, don't I? Something that strikes fear into my enemies and envy into the ladies of the Shire.
Maybe we should just call you Hamson Pop, because the only enemy you fought was corn.
Pop. Oh, the popping of corn! You said a funny, Master Elf. You said a funny. It's the first funny thing you've said since I met you. Yeah.
So your goal is to what were you charged to do now that you found out they were goblins? Are you
And
Well,
we offered to help rid them of this that was terrorizing them, but we found out they're goblins, so we were actually on our way to follow them to find out where their camp is, and then obviously we noticed you, and we came over to.
and when you
Chaston
find
here
this
lost
goblin
tracks.
camp, what do you intend on doing?
We were going to see if it was just a scouting party or if they actually have a bigger group.
Either way, we're going to kill them.
Well, we could always get the Wardens of Bree if we need extra assistance. They're great with their bows, you know. Helped us
Well,
out,
yes.
you know. Yes.
They did.
Does,
Oh, yes.
does Narniel shoot Iraniel a look when she says, either way, we're going to kill them?
Oh yes, I think even though Iraniel really wants to be able to talk and de-escalate things, when it comes to goblins and these sort of
Right.
enemies, it is like no.
Yeah.
But still, it's like if any time it's we're just gonna kill them anyway, it is a look like no. But she's
Well,
not gonna say
they
anything
are
on this occasion.
servants of evil, and if they are proliferating amongst the area, then this is surely a cause for concern.
It is, yes. This is why we have taken this task upon ourselves, and we will help where we can.
Well, Narniel, I certainly agree. They can't be treated with. They have to be dealt with.
Yes. We cannot leave
So-
this town. These continuing attacks.
To that end, why don't we have someone attempt another? Actually, I'll give you a choice. You can use your hunting skills to try to track them as if they were an animal, or someone could potentially use scan to try to pick up a trail, which is detailed kind of observation, going back to kind of about where you were. In this case, I will allow two. If you recruit Master Shadon to your
Fellowship.
goals, then I will allow two separate rolls. Your choice what you roll and who rolls it, where one person can assist the other. So two assisted rolls by two different characters, trying to pick up a trail or find some sign of the passage of this group of goblins.
For me, both roles would be the same.
I'm
Yeah,
going to
go
take
ahead.
out an apparatus.
Okay.
It has a lens on it and a little extension on it, and it's going to help magnify certain aspects of things on the trail.
You got a binocular.
I'm going to use it to try
Also,
to.
I was going to say, Jake, don't forget your ability.
Okay, that's crap. Okay,
Hanson
I'll
is washing
remain
pots, by the way.
all right. I will use a hope to succeed on this, but I'm using this contraption in such a way, and I'm kind of going to be aloof on this, and as I scan to try to find the trail of where these orcs, goblins may have gone, you will notice ominous dark wisps of smoke coming off on the trail from where these goblins traveled, and it lingers for a few moments as it kind of you know, you can almost see the direction for a very brief moment of where these evil creatures went, almost as if the very essence of their evilness was seeped up in the land and somehow brought out to lead us forward in our path.
Very nice. So, yeah, in this case, then, no one actually has to roll, because Shaidan, as an elf of Rivendell, has used his ability to achieve a magical success at will. Although it does cost him hope to do so. And all of you see this. This is not just something he sees. So, Traston has probably witnessed some level of subtle magic from Thranduil and the other elves in the Woodland Realm. It's possible that Narniel and Iraniel, it's possible that Iraniel herself has achieved some low level of subtle magics, particularly with regards to healing in the past, because everyone is capable of... Magic is very different in the One Ring and in Middle-earth than it is in what a lot of us are probably normally used to.
Okay.
So this is a clear use of magic by Shaidan, and no one is quite sure how he did it, but you can now see this trail on an almost, although the wisps of smoke and corruption are relatively fleeting, you get a clear sense of where this trail is heading. And because of the magical success, if you begin to follow it, you can actually see the wisps leading you in the direction that you need to go. Now, the reason why I kind of push that, Jake, is twofold. One of the things that happens when you use magic in the One Ring is, and this happens in the background, this is the only time I'm going to tell you about it, and I'm not telling you because I want you to not do it, I'm telling you so that everybody understands the rules. You should still absolutely use your ability when you think it's appropriate, and other people should use magical successes where they can. Basically, everybody else, you can achieve a magical success if you become inspired by a roll, which is done through your distinctions. So you essentially have to, when doing something, you have to look at your distinctive features and say, well, I'm stealthy, so I'm going to spend a point of hope and basically activate my distinctive feature of being stealthy. And so then you're not just stealthy, you almost become one with the shadows. Like you call on this subtle magic of Middle-earth. But
and you can do it with all the skills you have that are marked.
is that correct? Is it only with favorite skills?
Or is it the
I
distinct
thought it was
feature?
based on, I think it's based on the distinctive feature. It's not just
Okay,
based
so
on...
I could do that then because I'm keen-eyed with my awareness.
Right, exactly. So like if you were trying to see something, whether we're talking awareness or scan or anything that's visual based, you could kind of call out your ability to be keen-eyed, and then, you know, so long as that makes sense, you would then just kind of automatically succeed with a point of hope. Or no, I'm sorry, you would get one additional die for the distinctive features.
Okay.
Regardless, though, the reason why I wanted to do that is because one of the things that happens in the background whenever someone uses magic is you might draw the attention of something that maybe you don't want to draw the attention of.
Ring race?
No, not just them. So there's from the lore master side of the screen in the One Ring, there's something referred to as eye awareness, and the
somehow
more
all the cameras disappeared on stream.
what happened, all the
all the
cameras
cameras-
disappeared.
Yeah,
Oh,
on
yeah.
stream.
Oh, really? Oh, my, yes. Oh, by the way, I should probably mention that, unless I'm
There we go.
mistaken,
Oh, there we're back.
they're
If-
blinking in and
No,
out.
we're
Right,
fine.
one sec.
coming in
Just
and
go
out.
to
What were you
But-
saying,
well-
Jake? Sorry.
No, that's okay. I still have skill of Eldar, which probably means I should roll each time anyways, because if I get a Gandalf on the beat die, then it's a magical success without spending hope.
There they are.
Oh yeah, go ahead and make your roll then. For
And
scan. Yeah, that's a good point. I forgot about that.
no, I just noticed it's not you, just kind of, but not today.
Okay. So, but anyway, like I was saying, when the eye awareness reaches a certain point, you essentially have become known by the enemy, and the enemy might send agents after you as a fellowship. So it's kind of interesting that there's this kind of background thing. And again, I won't mention it again. It'll just happen when you do stuff. But yeah, whenever somebody uses a magical success, the eye awareness can go up. And it's not necessarily a bad thing if the eye becomes aware of you. I mean, think about it like this. The eye was aware of Frodo throughout the majority of the Lord of the Rings, so...
It's because they did that big attack, his sight disappeared from them.
Exactly, right, yeah. And maybe by drawing the eye's awareness to you, you might be aiding other people elsewhere in the world, right, is kind of a way to think of it. So yeah, you now have this trail of, I think you described it very well, Jake, this kind of wispy darkness, this corruption, leading you in the direction that the goblins have gone. It would only make sense for it to be the goblins. I guess it could be some other creature that passed through, but with the original Fellowship of Four knowing that the goblins headed this way, it would make no sense that it's them.
And I think definitely the loss of hope is attributed to the despair that I would start feeling when I get a sense of this dark evil that I have to follow, and it's almost like a reluctant kind
Over
of
time,
feeling.
yeah, absolutely. And again, for the rest of you, keep in mind, hope is not something to be hoarded. You certainly want to try to avoid going to zero hope if at all possible, but hope is a resource. And as we've already seen with a couple of poor rolls today, hope can definitely be used to increase your chances, particularly early on in the game, as we are, before you start increasing your skill. The higher your skills get, the less you fail, obviously, because you'll have larger dice points. But hope is a good thing. Don't be afraid to spend it.
Kind of like
Yeah, particularly with regards to your distinctive features. But also keep in mind, Warhammer is a good reference point for those of you that have played it. In Warhammer, you have what, like 2 or 3 fate points if you're lucky?
Yeah, you got fate and
Right,
fortune
too.
points in 4th edition, so you can use your fortune points to reroll or add.
And even then, it's a relatively small number, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, hope is meant to be spent. There's a reason why each of you have 10 or more hope, right?
Yeah.
And you regain hope during periods of rest and during fellowship phases, which we'll talk about probably this session, but sessions down the road once we complete some things, if we ever find these goblins. Speaking of which, are we going to follow this mystical trail that has appeared before you?
Before we lose
Yes.
sight of it, I think we need to. Are people on foot?
Yeah,
Oh,
only Hamson has a pony. We're all on foot.
Yeah, Hamson has a pony, everybody else is on foot.
Yeah, the peasants
Okay.
on foot.
The peasants.
I mean, he's not
You,
wrong,
will-
but still.
Hamson, you suddenly feel a little poke in your side. It's apparently from an arrow that is on my bow, ready to shoot you.
There's so much anger and aggressiveness. I think he's going to the dark side. He's going to be a servant of the
I'm
enemy.
angry. I'm not angry, just a little bit annoyed.
Be careful that doesn't turn into anger, because that can lead to shadow.
I know.
I
anger
certainly
leads to
don't want that.
Being used to traveling alone, I think I will get on Seuss and kind of,
Fear leads to
you know,
anger, anger leads to hate, hate leads to suffering.
I will move up ahead and kind of use awareness as I'm tracking and kind of, you know, double back to the rest of the group and just keep them informed of what I'm finding and what's up ahead.
Okay. So it doesn't take long, actually. It's still probably mid-morning by the time you come upon, and this is traveling almost directly north. I'll go ahead and move you into the... Yeah, there we go. Into the next hex.
Can we stop then for 11sies?
You gonna stop for 11sies for the
Oh,
Hobbit?
I need a cup of tea. Yes.
It's not midday yet, although 11sies, yeah, that's
11sies,
technically
midday
mid-morning.
is lunch. Yes.
Oh my god. You can eat on the way. Can you not?
Well, I need to heat up the water to make the tea.
That's a good point.
I mean, a good cup of herbal tea would do everyone. It may do our friend here, because he seems a bit grumpy.
I wonder why.
I mean, it's quite strange. We've got one jolly elf and one grumpy elf. I've never seen a grumpy elf before until today. Mind you, I've never seen a jolly elf until today.
Have you ever seen an elf before me?
Oh, no, but I much prefer him to you. I prefer jolly elves to grumpy elves.
That's odd. Not many people say that about me.
Oh,
in the presence of other elves.
I find you, your attitude and your demeanour most refreshing. You're almost hobbit-like.
Well, I don't think my lineage would support that supposition, but
Well, you are a bit tall for that. But, you know, I mean, you could be an honorary hobbit.
you know, I will take that as a compliment, and I look forward to learning more about your folk and how an elf can become more hobbit-like.
Eat more food, apparently.
You really want to throw away your slender figure to become more hobbit-like?
I am quite
I don't know if
happy
he
with
can.
where I-
Elves are kind of like that.
Yeah.
I think an elf could eat easily as much as a hobbit does daily, and never, like, their figure doesn't change.
Oh, I'm playing an elf in
I know.
every game I play.
Elves in Middle Earth are ridiculous. They really are, but they're great. All right,
yeah.
so do we stop for 11sies or no?
No.
Okay.
We can have tea with
Narniel's made
lunch.
the call. Narniel has made the call, so
We don't want to lose the trail. The faster we
that's a good
get
point.
trail, deal with these goblins, the faster we can get back to a hut, to a real fireplace. You know, seats for the rest of us.
Well,
Sounds grumpy.
I'm just going to have to warn you. I get grouchy when I don't eat or drink.
Well, you can eat as we're walking. You can drink water. Just
Oh, water!
tea-
Oh my goodness!
I think at this point, Arenial, if she's got any of that mead left,
Oh,
she'll-
sure. Yeah.
she'll just like slide some over to Hamson as
Oh,
we're walking
my
along.
Delightful, thank
Pass him the
you.
skin. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I couldn't pull out the little bench that goes over Daisy's neck and shoulders with the goblet holder and the plate holder. Kind of put it in place, and yeah, that works. And pour some mead in there. Yes, unwrap a sandwich. Oh.
Is this while Daisy is moving? You have
Probably.
like
Yeah, it's probably
Just
got a wooden
just the
sort of.
table over the top.
Yeah. So it's like a bit of wood about a foot long. It's got a little cup holder
amazing.
cup out. Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get it.
He's got to be the most
And it's
prepared.
like it's attached to her
person
saddle. Sure.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready for an adventure. A bit of meat. What do you got? Oh, it's a cheese sandwich today for Levensies. A bit of cake as well. Chocolate cake!
As you continue to move, just as Hamson finishes off his begrudging traveling elevensies, Preston and Shadon can see what appears to be the entrance of a cave the trail is leading to. And I will make it visible to you. See it?
An abandoned troll hole that looks like a mouth.
Yeah, I was
Well, there we
just
go.
thinking that.
It's
It looks like-
abandoned,
it
so
looks
we're
like
good.
Teeth at the top.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's why I said it looks like a mouse. It's like some teeth on the top.
It's very well done.
Yeah, that's very nice. I mean, the artwork, not the actual, hole.
Oh, well, it's not mine. That's internet searches galore. All right, so
How I get all my pictures as well. So
the cave is very quickly dark, and you can tell even elf eyes lose sight of the depths as it goes back into what is a large hill. You found this, the trail has led you into kind of a ravine. The territory you're in is not quite the Weather Hills yet. You're still kind of on the edges of Chetwood and Midgewater Marshes and kind of the plains leading to the Weather Hills, but it's still somewhat broken isn't the right word, but there are ravines and there are some hills. There are some light woods here and there, and this is kind of just off to the side in a small ravine, but it does appear to go deep. Let's get a scan or a hunting roll from one person, with one person assisting.
Yeah.
We can get some additional information.
I'll do the scan roll.
I
Okay.
will actually go. Well,
Let Hamson
You know-
roll it. He called it.
I will, but I'm going to give him my my apparatus to assist him.
Show him how to use it. Sure.
Show him how to use it and say, here, and that'll be my assisting him.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
giving him the apparatus. So you do get a +1 from the apparatus.
Okay. Where's that come up? Right. So I get a +1, do I?
And the assist.
The assist, plus I'm favoured. Okay, so scan. So bonus 1.
Ooh.
So the ground in front of the cave is definitely kind of tamped out. It's been tread recently, and quite a bit, it seems. The grass in patches has gone brown. There is some bare dirt in a few places. There's even kind of the remains of what is, for lack of a better term, an outdoor fire pit that is kind of off to the side of the main entrance. So this is a pretty heavily traveled area. Unfortunately, it's difficult to say traveled by whom or what. And the cave, I will give you that you can hear some, if you want to call it that, singing coming from deep within the cave, kind of echoing up to you. You're catching snatches of Westron and what's probably black speech. That out of all of you, I would assume that Shadon probably can translate a little bit of, but most people don't learn the black speech. But yeah, it seems to be a song about mutton and how tasty it is and how succulent. And oh, but if it were
Wouldn't
something
Hanson
other
just
than
understand
mutton.
it because it's about food?
What's that? No, he doesn't. He doesn't just automatically understand everything about food, but
That would be a
it's a good
talent,
call.
though.
It
That
is
would
the
definitely-
universal language.
That would
Right.
be a good
It wouldn't
talent.
surprise me. That would be a talent of Hanson.
Hamson understands the black speech word for mutton. Oh, mutton.
Yeah, he understands the word mutton in any language.
Mutton's back on the menu! Meat's back on the menu!
Shh. Now's not the time.
Shh. Shh. Do you want me to sneak up and have a look in? It can be quite quiet, you know.
And
That's rather brave. I'm.
Well, I do want to see what's in there.
Yes.
yeah, but
I'm intrigued. Don't worry,
In-
I've got this.
in
And
all this
you're
time
always
we
too
are
tall.
together,
You're too tall.
no,
Too tall, how are
I
you?
can be very secretive.
My elfin friend is too tall.
You can both go.
I'm gonna go.
Hey, me first! Me first!
Nope.
Me first!
Hamson can go too.
Narniel, is it a good idea that they both go together? They don't seem to get along.
In the little time that I've known both of them, I sincerely doubt we would have any chance of stopping them.
Yeah, I don't know that Narniel or Aniel have any say.
So I think it's easier to let them do, see how they do. But we're going to follow them.
They'll come back.
I'm gonna
to
roll
us
my
to
stuff.
let us know.
Yep, go ahead and do that.
I'm not too
Um,
sure. Nice.
Beat success.
Oh,
Wow.
okay. And can we get a stealth roll for Hamson?
Beat failure. No,
Success.
normal.
Very nice.
Success. Okay, so I will use these rolls until the situation changes. So as you travel into the cave, let's cave up. That was a second ago, but one click and we're there. So, okay. You do have to push past. I know it doesn't quite show it in the picture, but I'm looking. You have to push past some hanging greenery and what little undergrowth remains to enter the cave mouth. And immediately, as you find yourself in the close pool of the entry to the cave, you smell. It's just bad, just awful. And awful, as in, the leavings of things. Unwashed bodies. You can, both of you, now that you're kind of in the darker cave, you can make out a dim firelight kind of in the distance off to your left. But you can also tell that there are a couple of different paths here. There is a path that leads to the left, and there is also, in that pathway, kind of tends to slope downwards. And there's another pathway, quite a bit larger open pathway, that is more level, that kind of heads forward and to the right.
Well, Hamson always goes left.
Okay.
I'll then go the other way.
Okay. So, with you splitting up, let's have, with you going to the right, let's go ahead and make a hunting roll there. Because you do see some tracks. They're a lot more clear in the kind of damp, not muddy, but certainly not dry ground.
Am I
of the
using
cave.
the hunting roll as a visual?
Yes, you are looking at it.
I'm
I'll
thinking of
let you.
Yeah, I want to use then my distinct feature keen-eyed.
Okay, so as we said, you can use your distinctive feature.
On skills.
Trait can be invoked on a roll only if, based on its description, it's reasonably plausible. Yes, to you. You are considered to be inspired. And this page. It's the only problem I have with Free League's rulebooks sometimes is they're not always perfectly laid out. So this does this, so here's the rule for this. So when you are inspired, you can, your choice, but you can spend 1 hope to get a hope bonus of 2 dice instead of 1 die for a normal spending of hope. So basically, you can always spend 1 point of hope to gain a bonus die. If you can work in a distinctive feature, then you can get 2 bonus dice.
If you're inspired.
If you're inspired, yes, by a distinctive feature.
I don't know if I'm inspired by a distinctive feature in this case.
Yeah, you're using your eyesight, so yes, I'll give you 2 bonus dice if you
So
want
I
to.
may
If you
do-
want to spend it,
Yeah, I'm spending 1 hope.
okay,
So I'm getting 2 bonus die then.
correct.
So that would be 4 in total. Should be a success then. Yeah, great feat success.
Nice.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
Definitely
Oof,
good to
that's
spend hope when you're alone.
If you if you look,
I say I'm alone.
so I don't know if any of you have noticed this, but if you mouse over the success dice on a roll, you can see what the individual dice rolled. Holy cow! You rolled 2 1s and a 2, but that
And a
feat
6.
die is what got you through. Well,
I see. Yeah,
Gandalf.
1162.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay,
lucky.
so right. So with that roll, you can easily identify that the tracks leading to and from this location, and it goes yet deeper, are bear tracks. And it's a very large bear by the size of the track. Now,
Okay.
before you make a decision on what to do next, we'll jump over to Hampson. So you're heading down the left-hand path.
Yep.
As I said, it is kind of sloping downwards. The slope isn't terribly difficult for you yet at this point, although the ground is kind of rough and there's a lot of loose scree and rocks. You're having to be very careful to maintain the level of stealth that you're looking for. The light, though, in the distance is definitely coming down this path, and so you can see the light kind of becoming more and more clear. It's the reddish light of a fire, and you can now more clearly hear the sounds of these chattering goblins that are, conversing back and forth. You hear bits of the common tongue of Westron. A lot of grumbling and complaining. There's also some of those really harsh, kind of almost painful syllables, painful to your ear sounding syllables that you heard earlier, that you may or may not, you as a hobbit may or may not even realize is the Black Speech at this point. You just know that it sounds horrible. Yeah, it sounds evil. So yeah, are the two of you going to continue on your path? What are we going to do?
If I know this is where they are, I'm going to head back
Okay.
to where it split off, look to see if I can see my elven companion. And if I can't see him because he's got lost, I'll head back out through the
So before you
cave.
do that,
Sorry,
I want
was
you to
that
make a quick awareness roll for me for Hampson.
Was Hansen avoiding using the term friend and chose
Companion.
companion?
Nope.
Fair enough. All right, so Hamson
Okay.
heads back.
So close.
So close.
Yeah, it's only
What
one.
are you doing? What is Strassen doing?
I only saw the tracks, right?
Correct. You know that a bear has been through here several times. Your guess, actually, with the great success, you are guessing with your knowledge of hunting and animals that the bear's den is probably further ahead.
But
Like, this is
don't-
heavily traveled. You can even see signs of things being dragged. So bears being omnivores, if it made any larger kills, it probably dragged or drug those kills through this location as well to bring it into its den.
Yeah, well, I think I would know that a bear would not attack cows and pigs and stuff like that. Because
Well,
they
I mean, it depends. It's not unheard of if they're hungry.
yeah, it's not a quick thing they would do, but yeah. And I'm saying this as myself because I know what bears do and eat.
Sure, but also fantasy world, not modern.
Yeah. But
They're,
Did I
they're more
also saw
carrion
tracks of-
eaters, but yeah.
did I also see
They're
tracks of the
opportunistic.
goblins?
No. Yeah, with that great success, I can tell you definitively, you do not see tracks of any goblins heading this
Yeah.
direction either way.
Then I'm gonna go back.
Okay. So, both of you, very easily and with great stealth, return to the mouth of the cave, and I assume exit to meet up with your fellowship.
Before that happens,
Okay.
If I can, while they're away,
Of course.
look at Narniel. So, I mean, if this is where it is, if this is where these orcs are, how could we close off this hole or delay them, or do we bring the Rangers of the North to alert them that this is where they're staying? Is there a good place to ambush if they're going to come out? In the meantime, we have to get the Rangers a message.
Oh, I'll just look over at Reniel's like, well, we are Rangers of the North. We can help.
Yes, but certainly you need more of your kind. I mean, this is you're not expected to take care of these things all by yourself.
How many was it that we saw?
Saw 5.
5. Okay.
5 is child's play for 2 rangers, particularly with 2 elves and maybe a functional warrior in the form of a hobbit.
Yeah, but that's the problem. The first word is not
Well,
Yeah, well, we
functioning.
The abuse I get is shocking.
we know for sure there are only 5.
well, no, that's not the case. I heard mention that you
Correct.
didn't know
You
if
don't
it
know
was
for
just
sure.
a raiding party or if they're part of a bigger clan. I mean,
Well,
who knows how deep that goes? And
We've seen 5. We know there's 5. We know we can take care of 5. This is what we are here to check out.
Killing them.
history has shown that history has shown that the evil ones will use networks of caves and underground holes to travel far distances as undetected.
Yes, but the fact that they have come out into the open to take the livestock the way they are might not have such a great network.
It shows a high degree of confidence.
Yes.
They,
Yeah.
they may have numbers to support that confidence. And if you don't succeed, and then nobody will know that they're even here.
That is true, but we don't know until we try. We are here to help. If we go in, we see that we are outnumbered. I will be the first to, first to admit that we need help. I will never take
Greed is always an option.
I will never take people into a situation where winning is slim, where being victorious is unlikely. That's not the kind of ranger I am.
I'm sure our elven, my elven companion, will be able to let us know if their numbers exceed what you expect. Then we can decide what to do.
Yes. Well, we need, as long as they can confirm that they are in there somewhere, we can figure this out. We can maybe look in the cave ourselves to find what we can do to hinder, if we cannot take them out.
All right, so Hamson and Traston probably show back up at this point.
Yes.
What have you found? What?
Oh, they're in there. They're down on the left.
How many?
Yeah, don't go to the right. That will just bring you to a bear.
Bear.
Ooh, okay.
But
And there's a bear in there, even with the.
curious.
I didn't see it
And
there.
the bears
no.
habitating in the same
No,
area.
the path splits into two paths. He took the left one, I took the right one.
Please go left.
And on the right is a bear.
Which we're not after a bear. Was the bear actually there? There was a bear in the hole.
Unclear.
That was
So-
not clear, but I did see the tracks of a bear.
You didn't
And-
actually see the bear.
The tracks were pretty fresh, and there were a lot, so there's a lot of
And
activity
constant,
of
yeah.
See,
the bear.
the goblins were singing, so we know the goblins are there.
But we have no beef with the bear.
Yes.
No, if we
true.
can, we'll
no,
try
we get
and-
beef from a cow.
Correct.
If we can, we will try
So-
and keep our distance from the bear.
Before we make a decision on how we want to approach this,
Yes.
let's take a short break.
Yep.
So that everybody can have a second. So yeah, when we went on break, you all were standing outside of the cave mouth. What course of action are we going to take? We know that the goblins are to the left, and to the right is probably the den. Well, definitely not wanting to confuse Trassen's fantastic roll. Definitely the den of a great bear. We don't know if the bear is there. We do know the goblins are down there. We don't know how many, but
But we
know they're down there.
did I hear the idea of what's her name again? Of Shadon?
About I would imagine that you were coming in right at the end of Shadon and Narniel's discussion. So
So I wouldn't have heard he wanted to close up the cave.
No. That would have just
No.
essentially that would have been the conversation to pass the time while you were gone.
sure.
And also, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the way I'm looking at Narniel is kind of like almost the leader of this. She is the Ranger of the North. This is her domain, her decision.
Don't let Narniel hear that.
Well, from what I know now, I mean, I'll reserve judgment until next week. Or
Clearly, he hasn't
3
seen
weeks
the
from
last
now?
session. Clearly.
Yeah. So going off this information. So right. So Hampson, was it a clear? Did you see if there was a clear way in?
Oh, there's a way down, but then the fire was there, so it's definitely a way down. We could sneak in, definitely.
Yeah.
But do we really want to fight? Especially not on an empty stomach.
I mean, we need them gone.
We could maybe close up the left cave inside. But I wouldn't want to close up the right path. Because that bear might still live there, and then we take away his place for his hibernation.
I don't know how we would cave it in though.
Right. Especially in a directed way, so as not to cave in the. I don't know that between the 5 characters, I don't know that you all have the tools to cause a cave in. And then if we're talking about like gathering, I don't know, loose stone and timber to build something to block it off, I guarantee you the goblins are going to figure out what's going on and come and attack you before you complete it.
Yeah. I think it's a good idea to see how many we're up against and then make an informed decision of how to deal with it properly.
Now, what I will say in response to something that Shadon was talking about is this cave, as you're spending more time looking at it, there are some indications that maybe it has been worked to a certain level. So this could be an old, kind of like a sunken ruin, almost. It's possible. And I would say that even Hamson and Traston having been inside, you might have seen some indications of maybe a flagstone kind of peeking up out of the silt here, or maybe a certain section of wall looks like it was stonework as opposed to a natural cave wall. So it's possible this could be an ancient ruin. So that could mean that it's connected, especially if we're talking about a dwarf hole. But to be fair, this isn't an area that's known for dwarven work. You're not close enough to the mountains. The closest that dwarves may have had some steading at some point would be the Weather Hills themselves, which do rise a bit, but dwarves aren't known for making mines or constructions in the middle of mostly flat plain and marsh. So likely this is probably one of the ruins of old Arnor or Cardalon.
Would
so
I
there
be
could
able
be
to?
some interesting things down there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking that if there's archaeological value, there's.
We
certainly
should go
knowledge
down.
to be
Yes,
found.
treasure.
Yeah.
Can I do a lore on this to see if there's anything else that I might find out about this area?
Give
or
me a lore
just-
roll. Sure. Or you know what? From outside, no.
Okay.
If you get inside and somehow deal with the threat and have a chance to look at things more closely, then yeah, you'd probably be able to. But just from your current location, not so much.
Okay.
What about,
Maybe
because
not
it's
down
close to the Shire, any stories that I would have heard about this area?
Well, you know that a lot of the big people had constructions in Breeland that have fallen into ruin, particularly after the plague of the 1400s and then the more recent long winter.
Mm-hmm.
Those kingdoms fell, and while your kind have always been relatively safe and steady in the Shire, you know that there have been like Fornost in the north, Tharbad in the south. There have been kind of these human kingdoms that have risen and fallen again. There's tales of that in some of the histories that the hobbits have access to in their own libraries, particularly in Hobbiton.
Okay.
But as far as specifically who
Nothing
or what,
specific. Yeah.
no. This, you just know, and all of you do to a point, that this whole region, these kinds of old constructions that have fallen into ruin and have been kind of retaken by the wilderness are not uncommon at all.
I do think we need to investigate it further. For all we know, they could have captives down there. We can't just close it down. As much as that is the easy way to do it, we must go and confront them, perhaps. Talk to them, perhaps.
You cannot treat with these creatures. They
No,
are
but
pure evil. Have there been reports of missing persons as well?
Well, there's always
Not as
reports
of
of
yet.
missing people. Of course there is. Yes.
No, there haven't been reports of missing people, only dead cattle.
Not in Combi, anyway.
What about the other surrounding settlements? We just
Yeah, you
don't
haven't
know.
been to Saddle and Arch it. You don't
Yeah.
know. That's right.
We do need to investigate. We need to go down there into the darkness, search around, and vanquish these evil things. We can't just take a chance there is another way they can get in or out of these caves. We need to be sure.
I am no warrior, but your courage has strengthened me. There's a lot of nobility behind your small form.
Well, after Khorne, how bad can these goblins be? And I am skilled with my sword.
I don't. Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Plus, we have Rangers of the North with us.
2.
Exactly,
Yes.
2 Rangers of the North. How bad could it be? They are competent. They are skilled with their weapons.
You move as if you know how to use your sword.
I did practice a little bit.
You know how to use your sword against Khorne.
I don't just use it against with mutton.
He knows which side goes where.
Yes, a little bit of butter here and slide it in.
At least he knows where to point the stabby part.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's head in. Let's go and make some more sense of this.
Yes, I agree. I'll tie up Daisy somewhere safe over here. And then we can go and vanquish them, and back out for lunch. And then we'll cook a celebratory lunch.
Go and vanquish them
Our
and
mounts
then have lunch.
are safe if there's a bear also inside.
Well,
Bears, anybody with hunting would know that a bear's not just going to take down a horse. When bears eat, they're opportunistic feeders. So, like, they will... It's weird to think of it this way, but particularly brown bears, they are, they'll eat carrion that's not too long left. Obviously, they'll eat a lot of berries and nuts. They'll fish for themselves.
bears are omnivores, but they don't really like to hunt. The only thing they like to eat is fish.
Exactly. Right, exactly.
And then mostly fish that just jumps in their mouth.
So yeah, the worst that might happen is the bear, if it comes out or if it comes back, if it's not in there, it might spook your horse. And I already forgot that. Seuss is the name of the horse. It might spook Seuss and Daisy, but
Daisy,
tied up, you should
Daisy
be fine.
will look after your horse. Don't worry about it. She's brave. I have faith in her.
And she certainly takes after her master.
Well, I do try.
Yeah, the only difference is that the pony doesn't eat as much.
Oh, you'd be surprised. She loves an apple.
A good stout hobbit pony.
An apple a day? An apple an hour?
Still not as much as you eat.
She wouldn't eat that lambert spread of yours, though. It's a bit too dry.
All right, so
We have
we're
a
gonna need
task
stealth
ahead.
rolls from everybody once you start moving into the cave, and that includes Hamson and Traston again, since you've been out.
Wouldn't that just be rolled by the worst person with stealth?
I'm gonna have each of you roll separately,
Okay.
just so that we have
That's-
some funds.
Excellent.
Still.
Seeing as I have no skill in stealth, this will be interesting.
I'm thinking, should I use again a hope for stealth because I have secretive.
So that first one was
No,
Uranial.
I don't think I need it. So let's just try like this.
Okay. Yeah, so Uranial failed.
Yeah,
Oh,
I forgot that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Stealth is important.
I don't need to use hope.
Hamson failed. Aston succeeded.
I'm-
Okay, so
I'm literally disappearing in the shadow.
I succeeded. I succeeded on mine. Yes.
so the question is, how are you
success.
proceeding?
To be honest, I think it
Who's going first? Who's going last? Just a general idea.
I may have to take up the rear.
I will stick with my elderly elven friend. And I guess the elf will be leading, followed by the two rangers of the north.
Okay.
Probably the bloodthirsty one first.
I'll go
Sure.
up front, and I do keep my bow ready just in case.
So I'm going to need an awareness check as well from Traston.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just roll. Nope. And so close.
In that case, then, as you're moving forward, the first thing you notice as you start heading down the left-hand path is that the dim reddish glow in the distance quickly goes out. And the chattering from the goblins that had been relatively constant, as, people just having a conversation, enjoying their time off, relaxing, that goes silent. Do any of you have a source of light? I mean, you do. You have adventuring gear. So does anybody want to stop and light a torch?
Hamson will
Or
be
a
using a
lantern?
torch because he can't see in the dark. Yeah, I guess.
I somehow don't have any gear. I only have useful items.
No, everybody has adventuring gear. It's not something that you track in specific.
Okay.
But, if somebody wants to have a light, then you need to say, I'm carrying a light, right? And,
okay.
even elves can't see in pitch black. So you'll need some
Yeah, I would imagine we will be using
method to
torches.
see. Okay.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it would just be
So-
me and Traston, I assume anyway, wouldn't use a torch because we're up the front, just to limit how much light is heading off.
So I probably would have one in the rear to help,
Sure. We'll keep that in mind. And again, there's no hard and fast rules for like shuffling or anything. The baseline is, if you're using a bow, you can't hold a torch. But you can certainly drop torches.
I'm readying
on the
my
ground,
bow, so
for
I'm using
sight.
the low light that comes from the torch behind me
Sure.
to try and see more.
All right. So with Traston in the lead, as you all move forward, there's a couple of things that are going to happen. First, I need an athletics check from Traston.
Athletics. Oh.
So what's your total? 7.
Is that an oops?
That's a failure.
A little bit, yeah. So as you move forward, what you failed to see is that the goblins have set forth several traps. A few small deadfalls, a couple of swinging wooden spikes that they've kind of put together. Goblins are relatively industrious in a devious kind of evil way. And unfortunately, as you travel forward, you manage to you're quite deft, and you do try to kind of skip aside as they activate. You can barely see them in the dark, but a couple of them do manage to tag you. So we're going to have you go ahead. We'll just apply some damage. So we'll say that it's like. Well, you know what? I'll make a roll versus you. What's your parry again?
My what? My?
Your parry. That should be next to your wits.
Total parry is 20. Those were pretty high, as you said, with character creation.
20 is big.
Yeah. Oh, he's using actual dice.
I am. Because I don't quite know how to make rolls not visible to you guys. Okay, so you manage to deftly sidestep a cleverly disguised deadfall, and then you also trigger a swinging spike that kind of comes out at you, but you miss the flatbow crossbow that they have kind of near the end of what would be this kind of trapped area, and it manages to strike you for a total of that. So yeah, it actually gets a piercing strike. I'm going to need you to make a protection roll.
Wow.
Protection roll.
Lower right-hand corner of your sheet. Make sure you click protection. Make sure that's selected. And then click 5.
And then the injury rating is just what it is, 14.
The injury rating is 14, yes.
Success.
So you take no injury, but you do take 4 points of endurance. Now, unfortunately, because of some of the lack of stealth of your companions, as I'm sure you already figured out from the fire going out and the chattering stuff, goblins have figured out. And one of them have posted themselves at the kind of edge of where the tunnel is that they have trapped, and he's going to get a couple of volleys off. However, you can see him as he pops up and begins to prepare to fire. So, going to enter volleys. Anybody who has a bow equipped already, which includes Traston, even though you've been struck. Did Narniel or Ireniel have their bows out?
Ireniel would have done, Narniel, no.
Okay. So, Ireniel and Traston are going to get a volley, but the goblin gets a volley first.
Okay.
And then everybody gets a second volley, assuming that you're going to rush to battle. Or you can always retreat. Not saying you should, I'm just saying it's an option.
Okay.
I'm going to shoot back, yeah.
So, is volley a specific one, or is it just the bow?
Okay, so it's just bow. Basically what a volley is before full combat is engaged, depending upon the distance and the circumstances, each side will get one or more volleys with range.
Okay.
Before you actually enter quote-unquote combat. So in this case, the goblin's going to get one. Then Iraniel, Traston, and the goblin are going to get a second volley. And then you'll be in combat as you close the distance.
Okay.
Then I will shoot.
Right, so we're going to have the goblin go first. And he will be firing. You're in front. And, man, 20 is nice, huh? So he fails. And now Traston and Iraniel both get to make a bow shot, and then the goblin will make a bow shot, and then we'll start setting up combat.
Do we have to put in the target's parry?
You may have to. Go ahead and start your roll, see what it says.
So I left it at 0.
Oh, no, there is no parry bonus for this goblin, so you just roll versus your...
Then I have a piercing blow.
Ooh, nice.
Nice.
Raniel, however, missed. Okay, so piercing blow. Injury 16. That's not great.
Wait, how did you...
Damage 4, injury 16.
Yep.
I literally got the same dice rolls, but the other way around for Reniel.
Yeah,
so
for you it's
yeah.
a failure. For me, it's just perfect.
that goblin actually failed. And so, as you see this goblin peek up and fire a shot at you and miss, and then you and Aranio both launch shots at the goblin, Traston's arrow is true and flies through the dim light and strikes the goblin right in the center of their chest, and they fall to the ground with their bow clattering beside them. And then we find ourselves in combat because there are more than just one. So I'm going to drag all of you over. So I've given you the option, and nobody has said anything about retreating. I'm going to go over to the combat sheet. Everybody see that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So you have your tokens there at the top. And I need to drag in some tokens for the goblins.
We can't move our tokens.
Oh, you can't?
Not yet, no.
No, I can't move anything. I just get a selection square.
Hang on. Character settings. Do I need to go in and
Okay,
these
so
character settings real quick?
we literally just choose where we're going. It tells us at the bottom as well.
Yeah, I'll have to. I don't want to spend time trying to figure out what's going on with that right now. So I'll move them for you when you figure out where you want to go. So if you look at the combat sheet.
For me, it's easy where I want to go.
Right. Every round, you're going to be able to decide what stance you're in. Your stances are defensive, open, and forward. And depending upon which stance you're in, that affects your die rolls. Rearward is where you can make ranged attacks from. However, you can only be in rearward stance if there is at least one companion in a close combat stance, which is defensive, open, forward. Those are all close combat.
Okay.
For every 2 enemies. If you don't have enough in the close combat stances, then we have to all be in close combat. However, as you'll see when I bring up my adversaries, see you guys here.
That's pretty cool.
Grab some orcs. Oh, that's way too big. Why are you so big?
It's just easier to hit target.
You didn't bring the bear, did you?
Giant goblins. Meat's back on the menu, boys.
God, I thought I fixed all these. So good.
Apparently you didn't.
It
No,
might have
apparently
reset
not.
them.
So I'll just make him smaller. Okay.
Seems like a really good way to actually lay out the combat. Doing it this way.
Okay, so there are 4 goblins in the cave down there.
Left or
Oh, yeah, that's all there are. So,
it's not like there were 5 and one of them is killed because of my arrow.
yeah, there were 5. You killed one. Yeah. Okay, so you all essentially get to go first. So you get to determine your stance, and then your. As I was saying, if you want to be in the rearward stance, which is the only stance you can use a bow or any ranged weapon, you have to be screened by people in the close combat stance. And as I said,
Yeah.
fairly certain.
I
that
want to
you're
be in
screened.
rearward.
1 for 2. So you all decide together who's going to go where. Now there are some additional things to consider with the stances. If you're looking at the bottom, you'll notice that the rearward forward stance, you can do something which is called prepare shot, where you're essentially taking aim to give yourself a better chance to hit. However, that replaces your ability to attack that round. So it's either you attack or you do the prepare shot, and the same is true for each of the stances. Either you attack, or if you're in defensive, you do the protect companion, or you attack, or if you're in open, you do rally comrades. You are in a cave. It is relatively dim. However, you did bring torches, so nobody's really going to be at any penalties. If, however, you want to describe your actions in such a way that it might give you a benefit, if I decide that it's believable and it fits, then I can give you additional dice to a maximum of 2, and it's going to be hard to get 2 dice out of me. But, if you say, say, for example, if we were in a battlefield that involved some ruins, if you were like, I'm going to ascend to higher ground and shoot down upon the foe from the higher ground, I would give you a bonus die for that when you make your attack, right? So don't be afraid to be narrative. It's a good way to get some extra dice to help you out. You can, of course, spend hope to gain additional dice. If you spend a couple of rounds and you feel like you're not doing anything, it might be a good idea to start thinking about hope. But yeah, that's about it. So let's just take this one at a time. What stances do you want to take?
Rearward.
All right, so Traston wants to take rearward, which means you're going to need at least 2 people. Or no, I'm sorry. That's right. 2 people in close
1
combat.
per 2 enemies, was it right?
Narnia will
It
go
should
forward.
be 1 for 2, yes. Narnia is going to go to forward.
Yes.
So be aware, if you're in forward stance, you do get a bonus die to attack, but they also get a bonus die to attack you. So it's a trade-off.
Hamson's going to go open so I can rally my comrades.
Okay.
I'm fully focused on range, so that's why I always want to be rearward. So.
I'll go defensive.
Oh,
Okay.
That's right. I'm the only one that can move them. So how about that?
Yeah.
So open. Let's see. Narniel's forward. Where is Iraniel going?
I think Iraniel would use bow, so rearward if she can. No.
Okay.
Wait, can it? Can both
Yeah.
of us go there?
Was,
Yeah.
defensive.
Yeah. Traston and Iraniel can with the 2 of you forward screening. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And Shadon was defensive.
I believe.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, definitely with Shadon in close combat as well. Okay, so the order that we act is totally up to you all as well. So, however, I need to engage you first. So I'm going to engage each of you, and then since Narniel isn't forward, she gets the third.
2.
Now, you all go first. Whoever
I
wants
think
to
I'm
go.
I think I'm going to attack one that is attacking Narniel.
Okay, and there's no penalty for you firing at them, because the whole point of them screening for you is to enable you to fire, so there's no, firing into melee penalty or anything. So, which one? That guy? Or the lower guy? Top guy or bottom guy?
Let's do the top one.
Okay.
I am so good with my bow.
Jeez. Again with the piercing blow. 16.
Piercing blow, damn.
So what's happening with the piercing blow is that you're bypassing their armor, right? And if they fail a protection check, they take a wound. Goblins only have 1 wound. So if you deal a wound, they're dead. If their protection check succeeds, and they're rolling against a 16, which is the injury rating of Traston's bow, and they failed, so that one dies. If they succeed, they just take the endurance damage and keep going. So, but yeah, again, another shot. Describe how you take him down. You're the one shooting. Tell me what
I
happens.
just take aim and I shoot. I would say, Narniel, here's a next to her ear, and see a arrow like full between the eyes of the goblin next to her.
Nice. Okay.
I think Uraniel will aim for the one going to Shadon.
Okay.
Oh no.
Okay, so that arrow flies wide. Maybe she was Perennial being the kind of pacifist person she is. Maybe she was a little too concerned about not hitting Shadon and just overcorrected and fired wide.
Or she was too surprised by my perfect, accurate shot.
Possibly, if she was looking at it, yeah.
See, I mean,
All right.
wait, my name is... I'm a ranger and you're shooting at her? What?
So who's next?
I'll go
Okay.
next.
Oh, you're going to go next.
Okay.
Okay. You go next.
So I mean, it doesn't matter which. I just figured in the.
There you go.
At this point, I'm not really a warrior. I am going to. I have my sword out. I still have a torch in one hand. I'm going to wave the torch menacingly at the one in front of Hansen, and I'm going to use my action to do protect companion.
Okay.
It's 103.
Yep. So protect companion. What are you rolling?
It's a battle roll. I'm going to be doing it in a non-obvious way.
Okay.
But the object of the target, the object of the protection is Hansen.
Sure.
That it does not succeed.
No.
Right.
So yeah, waving your torch at that particular orc, he does not seem impressed. More annoyed, really. But you tried. Okay. So that was Shadon. Who's next?
Me.
Hamson.
Okay. So what is this rally combat task rally comrade? What can I do with that?
So with Rally Comrades, basically what you can do is you, it takes your action. You're going to make an heart roll as your main action for the round. And if you succeed, everyone in forward stance, which is Narniel, is going to gain an additional die on their attack rolls in the following round. So not this round, next round, which is weird, but, we'll go with it.
Yeah, okay.
If you get a success icon, in addition to succeeding, so that's rolling a 6 on one of the skill dice, then it also applies to people fighting in open, including yourself.
Right.
And if you get 2 success icons, it applies to everyone in every close combat stance.
Okay, right. Well, I have a goblin bearing down on me, so I am going to and strike him first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I need to defend myself from this foul goblin.
Sure.
I don't know if talking is a free action in this game, but I would almost say, think as if it's a corn cob.
It's a big corn cob. All right.
Can I spend some hope on this?
You can, to gain an additional die, for sure.
How many hope can I spend on this?
Ooh. No, I don't know if you can spend multiple hope. That's a really good question. I had not considered. I feel like you can only spend 1 point of hope per action.
That would give me 1 bonus dice, would it?
Yeah, but hang on, let me double check. Hope. Let's put it this way, until I find a rule, how much hope were you thinking of spending?
Oh, 2.
I'll let you spend 2 for now. Go ahead and spend your 2 and get 2 bonus dice. not sure, but just to keep things moving.
Page 20.
Is it 20?
Perks of having multiple books.
Right.
Okay. Steps
Oh
down.
no, it is 1 hope.
Okay, I've kind of.
However, do you have any distinctive features that might assist you?
No.
Okay, fair enough.
So we'll go 1 hope,
Jake?
1 bonus dice. What's his parry rating? Do I need to put that in?
Is it asking you for his
It's
parry rating?
asking me for a parry rating.
Oh, so for foes, it's a parry modifier. There is none for these goblins.
Right, okay, cool.
No.
Foul creature with a mother of a
Whoa!
goblin and a mother of an orc and a father of a warg.
Nicely done.
Strike down.
Oh, it's telling me injury here. Do you have a keen blade?
I have a short sword. I don't know. It's got the stats were out of the book.
Okay, no, so it's not actually a piercing blow. That's fair. So generally a piercing blow is on a 10 or a Gandalf rune. If you have a keen blade, it becomes a 9-10 or Gandalf rune. It can do a piercing blow. You did, however, achieve 3 points of endurance as damage. So that is subtracted from that particular goblin. Good deal. So yeah, you struck a solid blow. The first person in close combat to do so.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna attack the one in front of me.
Okay.
I'm gonna do two-handed longsword. Just
Okay.
strike. Gonna strike him down. Well, in theory, gonna strike him down.
Yeah.
Oh,
Piercing
nice.
blow.
There's a piercing blow. So, wow,
Boy.
with an injury rating of 18.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Roll an eye.
it is a two-handed longsword, so yeah.
I did not roll an eye. So yeah, you have felled that goblin. Tell me how it happens.
It's just gonna be both hands on the hill. It's a full-on top to bottom kind of strike, just bringing it down, like through the shoulder kind of thing.
Slamming into the clavicle and nearly cleaving him in twain. That's
Yeah.
great. Okay.
No overkill moves as in Middle Earth.
No. So, as we stand, we have 2 goblins remaining. They are looking around, kind of skittish, and it doesn't take an awareness roll for any of you to realize there is no exit from this cave, except for the way you came in.
Good.
So they are not giving up because they have no place to go. You are essentially holding the entrance.
They are cornered, so
Yeah, exactly. So stance changes, or is everybody happy with where you are?
I'm happy with him.
I'm gonna move
with
to
the
open.
way I'm rolling.
Hang on. Jake, you're going to move where?
I'm gonna move to open.
I
Open.
think
Okay.
we can move our tokens now, by the way.
Okay.
Can you?
I can move mine.
I
Can't
can't.
move mine. No.
Okay.
All right, I'll have to take a look at why that's happening. But yeah, we'll worry about that later. Hamson staying in open.
Yeah, I'll stay in open.
Trassen and Iraniel staying in open. Okay.
No,
So,
staying rearward, yeah.
Rearward, right. So, adversaries, they're going to go again to forward. And then, since you managed to strike one of his friends, I'm going to go after Hamson. Okay. So, this round they're going to fight back because they're no longer surprised by your sudden rush into combat. However, you still get to go first, so it's possible you can cut them down before they have a chance to respond. So who wants to go first?
I think
Let's shoot again first.
Okay,
Reniel
you
wants
called
to
it.
try
Go
and
ahead, take a shot.
I'll take the one at Hampson.
Okay.
And again. Damn.
Incredible.
He's rolling a rather large rolls, isn't he? You know.
Mm.
Again with a feat. This one's dead as well.
Well, you think so? No, it is. I rolled high, but not high enough. So go ahead, call it.
Hampson, how is your hair a little bit high?
No.
Oh, because otherwise,
Look at
will
the
an
picture.
arrow go a little bit
Look at the
above your
picture.
head, and you see an arrow thumping in his chest, and he falls backwards.
Narniel, are we sure he was aiming for the goblin?
Okay, who's next?
I'm gonna try again with Reniel. Like,
Okay.
I'm gonna
Now,
try
to
and
be
get a
clear,
shot.
we'll let Araniel take the shot, but to be clear, just so everybody's aware, since Hamson and Shadon are not engaged, they are allowed to attack that orc that is facing Narniel. So this isn't really a representation of the stance chart, isn't really a representation of where you are necessarily. It's just how you're fighting. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, like, if Araniel doesn't kill the orc, then any of the three of you remaining can try to kill that orc as well.
Okay.
So
That's good.
you don't have to be engaged to attack someone.
Let's see if we can do it.
But if you are engaged, you have to
Yay.
attack one of them. Oh,
It's
piercing blow.
Normal piercing blow.
Oh, injury 14. They might.
Wow.
Let's see. Nope, they rolled a Gandalf rune. That's a 0 for them. So, and 5's certainly not going to do it. So yeah, Raniel takes down that one.
Protecting her sister.
Nicely done.
It's the only time it works.
And the final orc falls to the floor with an arrow sticking out of its chest as well. And as you look around in the dim but visible cavern, this is a relatively small chamber. It may have once been a basement or a storeroom, but it looks like these particular goblins have been camping here for a time. How long is difficult to say, but there are, and I'll move us back to the main map, there are signs that they've been here for a while. There are some bedding, if you want to call it that, kind of piled up around a campfire. Mostly it's hay and like rushes and leaves and things like that. Nothing so nice as an actual quilt pillow. There's the remains of several meals, some weapons that they have hoarded, most of which look to be, very poor condition. And yeah, so that is where we are. And I think before you investigate this particular place more closely, I think we should probably call it there for today.
Marvelous.